Hello, my name is Alina Hayes, and I have been working with clay for over 15 years now. And when I first started making, I was making utilitarian objects and pottery. I love the intimacy that you experience and the relationship you have to a handmade object like a cup, for example. So over the years and more recently, my work has been shifting to a more sculptural realm where the scale shifts and I make large installation work, and then I also make these small handheld objects that you can experience. And I've been exploring different materials and different techniques. So today I thought that I would give you a sneak peek into my day of making and show you some of the new work that I am currently working on right now, and also share a little bit about my making process. So let's go. So first of all, I think it is important to be brutally honest here. This is my dining room. And during this pandemic and quarantine, my son, my 10-year-old son, has been homeschooling for close to a year now. And even though I do have a workspace in the garage, I cannot work there because I am called upon every 15 minutes. So if I want to get any work done, this is what I must do. And hey, I'm just being honest here. So I think it's important for people to see what your space looks like. I have a Swiffer nearby, and I have to control the chaos and the clay dust. I have a variety of bags and boxes, and if I am to make my work, then this is what I have to do. So first I wanted to talk a little bit about what you see going on here. So this is going to be a multi-section wall hanging. So the idea is that this piece will hang on a wall and be like a three-dimensional painting or a canvas. So here I have a large piece of plywood that I covered in plastic garbage bags. And the reason for that is, as I'm working on this piece and it's going to be laying here wet for a long period of time, I don't want this wood to warp and ruin the flat underside that I want. Also, what this allowed me to do is it allowed me to sketch kind of general forms of how I envision this piece to be. This piece is going to be about maybe 3 feet by 2 feet, maybe 3.5 feet. And so this way, I like it laid out like this because then I can look at it and shoot pictures of it from the top to see what it looks like. Also, the reason why I'm doing this in sections is because I have a kiln that can accommodate about 2 feet long and about 22 inches wide sections. So that's another reason for why I am doing this in parts. Also though, I don't have an assistant, so it helps me move these pieces around and allows me to move them into the kiln by myself. So let's get started. So this piece is being built with a combination of techniques. I am using slabs as well as coils and also some pinching. So here I wanted to show you how I go about start to build out this piece. So here I have a paper template that fits in here. So I went ahead and I rolled a slab and I placed it in here. So this piece is going to be curved and rounded. So my slab is ready to go. So also I have cut out about a 3-inch wide piece of slab that I'm going to place in here. But first I have to score the underside of it. Now, I always get asked if I need to use water. I don't use, I mean, you can see I have a water bottle standing by, but I don't like to use too much water. And also, am I gonna use slip to attach these pieces? These clay pieces are very, very wet. And so I am not going to be using any slip. I did just use a little bit of water kind of as a precaution, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to fix that section later, so I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so here, now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna position this in here. And I'm gonna press this down. I want it to be as flush to this piece as possible because when they're hanging together, I want it to have a seamless look. Okay, so it's already stuck on there pretty good because as I'm trying to lift it, the bottom part is being lifted. So this is good. This is what I'm looking for. Also, if you notice these sections, they're cut on a bias. So I'm also gonna go ahead and score these two portions. Okay, and I'm gonna introduce another part of the piece. Also, again, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna score this area here. Also just gonna give it just a brief little spritz here, not too much. Again, I'm gonna score this here, both sides. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be neat. We're gonna be fixing all of this anyway. And then I'm gonna go ahead and attach. Press these pieces together. So this is where I'm going to take my serrated rib and really, really compress these seams together. So now I have this section here, okay? I'm gonna just go ahead and position these slabs and really, really press them down. Also, it might not be a bad idea to maybe paddle them just to press a little bit. Pressure here. All right, so how am I gonna get this rounded? Okay, so then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slowly pinch and squeeze, pinch and squeeze these slabs inwards. Now, if I wanted to, yes, I could certainly do this with just good old coils. But this would take me about two coils, maybe 3, to get this height. But I am in a, I'm trying to maximize my building time here. So I am going to use slabs. I discovered using slabs as a combination or as a hand building technique when I took a workshop with Patty Warashina. She built all her, if you're familiar with her work, she builds all her giant installations from mostly slabs, and she's a tiny little person, and so she's able to you know, build them, these huge installations, very quickly. So one of the things that I'm trying to avoid is the idea of an undercut. You might be familiar with what undercuts are in mold making. So what I don't want is, I don't want for these pieces to have any undercuts, because I need them to hang together. So I can't have these accidentally not fit on the wall. So I will go ahead and I will score this entire thing. As you can tell and you can see. So my plan is to keep having it just a little bit higher than this portion here. This is the part of the work where I am most uncertain about. This is the part where I like the look of this piece the least. There's a lot of decision that needs to be made here, and I hate making decisions. So this is when, you know, but what I do here is I trust my process, and I trust what I envisioned, and then I just go with it and work through my own insecurities. So from here, what I would do is I would probably start coiling from this section. And also, before I continue, I am going to reinforce it with a coil on the inside. So now that I have this section attached, I'm gonna start coiling the rest up. So with my coils, I've gotten very lazy. I don't even roll them out anymore. I just sort of pinch the clay and stretch it into this rudimentary sort of coil. Oh, I'm gonna have to come around. Yeah, that's how we do. We just walk around to the other side of the table. And if you want to see this coiling process in more detail, I do have a YouTube video where I coil build a piece from start to finish on my YouTube channel. Yep, gonna plug myself here. So here you can see that I coiled off and finished coiling the rest of this piece. I also went ahead and threw a bunch of these little, what I call bonbons, because they remind me of candy. And so then what I'll end up doing is I'll end up putting these all over the entire piece. The purpose of that is to give a contrast between the two pieces, the smooth and sort of the bumpy, but it's also to encourage touch, encourage the desire to touch, even if you're not really going to touch them. So, but before I attach these pieces, I wanted to talk to you about the smoothing process. My students tease me and they tell me I have a smoothing sickness. And one of the things that I love about wheel thrown pieces is the smooth and the balanced, symmetrical look. And for the longest time, I hated hand building because I could not get that sort of seamless, smooth surface until I discovered the serrated rib. So the serrated rib allows me to move clay from the low points to the high points, from high points to the low points. And it allows me to have that surface. So after I have done this, I then come in further with a smooth rib, with a metal rib, and I scrape a lot of this ribbed area, okay? And what that does is it continuously reinforces something that we should always be thinking about in clay, which is compression, 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 compression. So now these coils that I've made, now they're being compressed once more, you know, in addition to. So once I'm sort of satisfied, and I feel like I have an even enough surface, I then come in with a silicone rib and then continue smoothing out the area. Again, almost like imagine like a shaving or a scraping. So you can see how smooth and uniform the surface becomes. And that makes me very happy. So before I begin to clean up and wrap this piece up for drying, I just wanted to share with you more or less the finished product. So now I will wrap this up in plastic and put it out to slowly dry in the garage and on to a new adventure. Peace! So I just wanted to say thank you for watching. I enjoyed sharing some of my process with you. I look forward to answering some of the questions you may have and meeting you virtually. If you're interested in seeing some finished, current, and past works, you can go to alinahayes.com. Also, I am most active on Instagram. My handle is also Alina Hayes. So if you just Google Alina Hayes, you should come across all of my platforms that I'm active on. Again, thank you for having me. This has really been a joy, and I'll see you all soon. Thanks.